Hello, everybody. So I've seen this article from the Dublin Inquiry today, and it's something I talked about many times before. As you know, I could nearly write the book on this subject, and it's to do with the League of Dublin and stuff. We see it all the time in our cities and our towns. In Dublin, this is just a common occurrence in Dublin. People just leaving household rubbish in bins. Because again, what the bins are supposed to do, public bins in the street, only for a can or an ice cream cone or whatever. For basically, if you're going past the bin to put it in, it's not there for you to put your household rubbish into it. So Dublin City Council, there's loads of angles to cover here, so just bear with me. So Dublin City Council are going to use the data, it seems to be. But obviously there's probably there'll be loads of arguments about it, because obviously data protection, you can't, private companies, because again these waste companies are not government agencies, they're private entities. Oxygen, the crowd that I'm with, is a private entity. And the waste management sector is pretty much aware. Years ago, it was the council who lifted the rubbish. There was no such thing as private companies that deal with waste. And to be totally honest, we should go back to that. Either people pay a higher property tax, but the council lift the rubbish in terms of your household rubbish, and the council deals with it instead of the private entities dealing. We should have always stuck with that anyway, regardless of what anybody says, instead of leaving it to private companies. But again, they want to outsource everything away from the state. Which probably we wouldn't be in this situation probably if the council was still doing it. But it's a lot of money. Like, I pay for 3 months, it's nearly €80 for 3 months. I get a bill of €80 on the door, every 3 months for the bins, for my 2 bins from Oxygen. So there's a lot of money. €80 is a lot of money. Like, that's just even thinking about it, it's nearly about 30% of 1 week of my wage. And a lot of people, some people can't afford it. The majority of people just don't care, and they just want to save the money. They could afford it if they wanted to, but they just don't want to pay it. Like, I've dealt with this hundreds of times. There's people that literally dump rubbish, and they have more money than you and I ever own in our lives. Multi-millionaires, people with 2 or 3 cars, and they're saying, "Oh, I don't have the money for the rubbish and stuff, but I have 2 or 3 cars and a big house and stuff." They just don't want to pay it. They're just miserable. They just don't want to pay it. And that's what's been said many times. But anyway, just because again I could write the book on it. So there's many issues here, because obviously people have their privacy. You shouldn't, and the council too, especially a private entity. The council can't just go around demanding stuff. The same with the government; they can't go around demanding stuff for private entities unless they have a court summons or whatever. But in Cavan, they have a bylaw now, starting from the summertime, where the people could call around. I know they talked about it in the article here. The council will employ a person, pretty much as it says here. This is what Cavan is doing at the moment. They're employing a person to ask, do they have because if you have bins, or if you go to the dump, take for example, you get a docket, pretty much. It's the same I get every 3 months. I get a kind of a bill, I suppose, and a letter just saying, oh yeah, your account is paid up and all that. Just to say that you have a bin, or to show them your bin. That's what they'll be doing in Cavan. Because the logical explanation is, if you don't have a bin, you go to the dump. And if you don't have a docket from the dump, because usually you get the bill and the docket when you go to the dump and how much you paid and stuff like that. So if you don't have any of that, the logical explanation is where you get rid of your rubbish. Either you're burning your rubbish, or either you're dumping your rubbish somewhere. And obviously 2 of them against the law. You're burning rubbish too is against the law too. And then obviously legal dumping is against the law, of course, too. But this is what they're doing in Cavan. So I don't know. I don't foresee us doing it anytime soon in Cavan. Something like this. But it's interesting to see. But the thing about this is, and I just want to get this straight, that we already know the majority of county council, I could name off 6 or 7 names at the top of my head, that literally come from other counties to dump rubbish in Cavan every weekend, because they don't do it in their own area. Like, take for example, there's somebody coming up from Dublin to do it nearly every week, and they don't do it in Dublin because the county councils can pursue them easier because they're literally in their area. But to come up to Cavan, because we have to chase them down in Dublin and stuff like that, and there's a lot more hassle and stuff like that, and it takes 9 years to go to court for a small charge and stuff like that. It's a joke. But yeah, so it's a whole joke of a system too. But we should see. I don't know. I could see them being just total uproar with this, particularly going and asking waste companies for data and stuff. But again, as I say, what Cavan is going to do at the moment. And I think that, as I said, Dublin City Council have done it, but I don't know if they check to see that they have dockets. I just need to refresh myself. Yeah, knocked on the doors asking people to have bin contracts. Yeah, so pretty much that's what they'll be asking you, Cavan, just to show you bin contracts and stuff like that. Because unfortunately, again, there's that much money being put towards, and it's unfortunate. It's a sad waste, because that money could go to good use. In Cavan, take for example, last year, it was 1.3 million, 1.4 million on League of Dublin, cleaning up a League of Dublin in terms of the bins management and all that. And just in Cavan alone, 1.4 million. That money could have went towards many community projects. It could have went towards things for schools. It could have went towards different things. But it's unfortunate, again, that some people, and the majority of people who do this, like the majority of the time I've done it, and no, we're not done it, but cleaning it up and stuff, because I clean it up literally on a regular occurrence. Like, you could wipe the book on it every day of the week. There's something. Like washing machines and stuff dubbed, like, it's insane, it's ludicrous. The majority of people who are dubbing this could buy the place, could buy the shop, and get rid of the stuff 50 times over. There's only because usually the people who are genuine people who, like myself, I would rather starve than dump something along the road, to be totally honest, for somebody else to pick up and to deal with. To be totally honest, again, that's just the type of person. There is people like that. I've come across 2 or 3 people that just couldn't afford it. Simple as that. Just couldn't afford to pay the bins. And you don't blame them, like, because they're more apologetic, and you can see that they regret what they did. The people who have the money and stuff, they don't give a shit. Simple as that. They couldn't give a shit, because it take 9 years to go to court, and when it goes to the court, the judge will let them off with it. So basically, nothing ever be done. They know it. There's nothing ever going to be done. And the only way, unfortunately, is this. Unfortunately, that's the only way to really do it. It's to really do this. And again, at the same time too, I don't want people's details, county councils, city councils in this case too, going to private companies, waste companies, because again, they're not owned by the government or Oxygen and stuff like that. The government might have a stake somewhere in it, but not that much. Years ago, again, the county councils used to lift the rubbish at people's houses, and it was including your property tax and other stuff. And we should have kept that around. To be told, we should go back to that. It'd be a lot handy if we did. But it's unfortunate, because again, as I say, that's the only really way you can do it. Because I've often heard people who I can guarantee 100% there's evidence they have dubbed many times over stuff on the roads. That they say, oh, I have bins and stuff. There's no proof of it, but I have bins, I go to the dump and stuff like that. And obviously you can't say to prove it, because there's no law to say show us the documents, show us the papers. But we know pretty much what I'm trying to say. The county council, local council, county council, even people who work on the waste management of local authorities, different local authorities, know who the people are. They know who are doing it. We're not stupid. So that's the thing, because it can be targeted. At least then, if you can get the data, you have the evidence to back it up 100%. There's no record of you having a bin. There's no record of you going to the dump. Where are you dumping your rubbish? And unfortunately, that's the only way to do it, because every other way is just going around in circles. And it's a huge, I say probably every year in this country, I don't know, I'm probably taking a rough guess, it probably is about 30 million that's probably spent on cleaning up a League of Dublin and stuff like that, about that, and maintaining bins and public bins and stuff. It's about 30, I say about 30 million or so. I'm not too sure. I'm only taking a rough estimate in my head. If it was different places, other cities would be a lot more dear than things. But yeah, it is a lot of money just on with the bin charges too. The government should have it through the government, because it'd be a lot cheaper too than private entities. Because it is a lot of money, like €80. It's a lot of money for 3 months, my contract. So I don't know how much I think that works out at nearly 500, 600 something a year. I think so, something like that. It went up a while ago too, so it's probably €85 a week. Every €85 every 3 months. So it's probably more than that now. But it's a lot of money too. It's a lot of money for a person who's on the minimum wage and stuff like that. I get that. I understand that. That's why it would be better if the council done it. It'd be a bit more cheap. It'd be a small bit more on the property tax or on your only taxes. But in comparison, I don't think it could be as much as a private entity, because the private entity can charge you whatever they want. Actually, speaking of that, it went up by €5. Yeah, it's €85 now a month. Excuse me, sorry, it went up by €5. €85 for 3 months, just to say. This is what you can pay 1 month installments, and then you can pay 3 months. The same, you can pay years too. But yeah, no, it's insane too. But it's a sad thing to say. But again, I don't know what people would think about this. I think it's a bit overreach too, because at the end of the day, I'm tied to their privacy too. But let me know what you think. I don't know what people would think about it, but it's really, in my opinion, it's a sad thing to say. It's the only way we need to stop it, unfortunately. Because every other way is just going away, wing around in the circles. Let me know what you think, subscribe more, and bye.